Here's something no one explains when you start preparing for a long term move to the Dominican Republic if you're married. The country does not automatically recognize your U.S. marriage certificate, and if you skip this step, you'll run into problems later with property, residency, and even basic paperwork. Today, I'm breaking down exactly how to legally recognize your marriage in the Dominican Republic, the real steps, the timelines, what it costs us, and what I wish I known earlier. This is day 16 of my 30-day YouTube challenge where I document our family's real intentional process of preparing to move to the Dominican Republic before we actually move. No hype, no rush, just clarity, strategy, and honest experience. All right, guys, let me walk you through how this actually works and how it actually went for us. I already had a Dominican cedula, which is basically the Dominican Republic's made identification document, similar to how the Social Security number works in the US. But I got mine originally when I was back in my 20s. And then I lost it because honestly, I never used it again and didn't have a reason to use it until now. But so one of the first things that I did during the whole process of trying to move to the Dominican Republic was call the Dominican Consulate right here in Miami. They told me to walk in if I wanted to find out more about getting my cedula. They don't need any appointments, so that's what I did. So once I was there, they verified my identity and prepare a replacement cedula. And that's where the whole marriage issue came up. They told me we can only issue your cedula under your maiden name unless your marriage is legally recognized in the Dominican Republic. And that's when I realized, guys, that this process is not as simple as just walking in with your US marriage certificate. This is the first thing you have to do. Your US marriage certificate has to be apostilled by the state where you get married. Excuse me. For us, that was in California. Some companies here in Miami charge around $250 to process this for you. Now, I found one here in Doral that only charges $150. And I got the apostle document back in about a week and a half. Now, what's the next step? Once you have these documents with you, you have the apostle, you walk into the consulate again, along with your cedula, uh, along with the cedula and the apostle and a photo of your spouse. So in my case, my husband's. This document could be your U.S. driver's license or passport. They entered all of the information, everything in the system, into electronically into the system in the Dominican Republic. Now you need to make sure you need to double check that the spelling, the marriage date, everything is correctly because I once went through this process, I had to double check several times, and they first had my marriage date wrong. They had my husband's name misspelled, his birthday. You have to double check everything. Now, once this is done, you have to wait for the approval. I thought it would be, I don't know, automatically for some reason. No, they told me that the process could take about a month and a half or around 6 weeks. Sometimes it could happen faster, sometimes it doesn't happen as fast. And that's the stage that I am in right now, waiting for the final confirmation that our marriage is officially recognized in the Dominican Republic. Now, I want to, important note here. If when the DR system finds they run your documents, they find any discrepancies like a previous marriage, a missing divorce documents, mismatched dates, like the one I said you should check, they will contact you again and request those additional documents before finalizing this recognizing your marriage legally. Now, this is something that I want you to be aware of if this is something that you don't like or just don't know about, so it doesn't catch you by surprise. Because I don't know you. After your marriage is recognized, your maiden name stays on your cedula. Your spouse's last name is simply added after that. For example, my maiden name is Ortega. So before I get married, it was Betty Ortega. Now that I'm married, it's Betty Gonzalez. No, Once if they recognize my marriage certificate, I will still be Betty Ortega. It will be Betty Ortega de Gonzalez. That's a Dominican format, which is a lot of Latin American countries do the same. So, how can this help your spouse later and even yourself? So, the consulate also explained to me that once our marriage is recognized and we live in the DR for about 6 months, and we purchase property, which we've already do, that alone is enough to request residency for my spouse. This is very important step, especially if you plan to buy the property because it's easier process, trust me. File residency or settle long term. What do I want you to take away from this? Is you're trying to potentially move to the Dominican Republic? Please, please, please don't wait to do this. Because if the Dominican Republic does not recognize your marriage, every other step becomes slower. Property purchases, residency, even banking. Trust me, that's what took me a long time. Even though, watch my other videos, you see what I did to avoid, or I help you avoid to do this. It is not complicated, but it does require preparation. And the earlier you start, the smoother everything becomes. Guys, this was day 16 on my 30-day challenge, documenting our family's real journey of preparing to move to the Dominican Republic with clarity and intentions. Now, if you want my 7-step property checklist, email me at info@livingindrguy.com with the 7-step checklist on the subject line. And if you want to keep following this process step by step, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell so that you don't miss day 17. Guys, I will see you tomorrow. Bye.